And welcome to a Film Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where carburetor performance happens. Previous week I made a video about the theory behind carburetor tuning, especially applied to Holley Carbs, and now what I'm going to be doing in this video is applying that, and I'll show you all the steps that I'm going to be taking to modify this carburetor right here. So without further ado, let's make a start. The first thing I need to do is I need to mark, as you can see, as you can probably see from there, I'll bring it closer in a minute. What I need to do is make sure that the base plate and the venturi match up. For that I need to make a cut here, but in order to know how much of a cut I need to make, I need to mark the surface. So as you can see it there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scribe and I'm going to go through like so all of the outside of the body like that, because what this is going to give me, obviously one thing that I should have said before is that the base plate is installed in the carb with two bolts in the exact location that it would have gone. Why? Because I need to make sure that these two parts match up absolutely bang on. so once I've got the marks here, and they need to be quite clear, because if not it doesn't show. Now what I need to do is I need to take the base plate off and do the 45-degree cut. Okay, so here you can see the first cut that I made, and I cut it just before the edge of the line, and I created this kind of 45-degree chamfer in this thing with this kind of cutting tool that you can see here, and this is a pillar drill, of course, if I zoom out. There you go. So now what I need to do is do all the other holes. Okay, so as you can see, I've done the 4 chamfers here, which are suitably matched to the base plate. If we see here, if I align it there, now as you can see, the airflow has a much smoother path through the base plate, which is exactly what I wanted. So now what I need to do is I need to match the holes in the body here to the holes here, and for that I need to do it with a gasket. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done here is very simple. I just put the gasket that goes with this application, and you can see that all the holes are absolutely fine, so because this is the right gasket for a 750. But look at now what happens when I've transposed this gasket onto the base. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but there is a tiny ridge here and here as well. So that's what I need to do. Now I'm going to mark these things. I'm going to take the gasket out, and what I need to do is I need to do a slight chamfer here, so that I'm sure that all the holes actually match with each other, because if not, what's going to happen when I put the carb in, that is going to create problems with the idle circuit. So it's very important that you always match these things up, because if not, you're going to get a decrease in idle flow and the carb is not going to work. So now if I peel off the gasket, you can see what I've done to the unit. So I did a little chamfer here, a little chamfer here, and now if I put the gasket back on and put it square, I've eliminated the step that was here. so making sure that the carb will get idle fuel correctly. This is really important. And the same thing here on the back. I did some chamfers to this holes just to make sure that everything is going to flow correctly. Okay, so now what we need to do is work on the venturas a bit. What you do, I've extracted one already, as you can see here. And now what you need to do is very simple. You just put a drift here and you just hammer it away. There we go. See, that's came off. Before I install the boosters, one of the things that I had to do is, remember in a previous segment I think I've showed that there was, in some places there was like a bit of a step here. So what I did is I got a little file here and I filed away very carefully just the step, so that you can, if you put your finger across, you shouldn't feel any ridge or any sort of indentation in the casting. So now I know this casting is nice and round, all perfectly polished. Generally on normal carbs you can see here where it was, where I took some material out. The aim of this was not to make this hole any bigger, but just to make the surface smoother, which is what you want when you're trying to maximize the performance of the carb, because this sort of small details that I'm doing here, this is what really makes the difference if you aggregate it up in the whole package. So this is very important to do before you put the boosters, because obviously now I have access to the whole circumference. Okay, so now it's time to install the boosters, and I've got the booster here. I've got this, which is a special tool that is used for installing the boosters. I'll show you how it works now. And I've also got a retaining compound that you need in order to do this. So let's start this by just putting some retaining compound on here. Like so. So I'm going to install, I'm going to wipe off some excess. That should be good enough. So I'm going to install the booster here where I want to place it. Should slide. And now what we need to do is install the tool straight on top of the booster. Basically we move this through here, and what we need to do is we need to tighten up this tool, and initially until it's finger tight. So you do a quarter turn, half a turn, and then what you need to do is you need to spin this bit of the tool, because that will give you the spinning effect that you need to finish off the end of the auxiliary ventura. So you can see I'm spinning it and it's tightening up. I just need to tighten it up a bit more. There we go. I think I need to tighten it up a bit more. Once you feel it tight, then that's when you know that you've done enough. And now it's tight enough. Okay, that should be good enough. Now what I need to do is you need to back this off. Back this off by go. And here we go. We've got the booster installed, and you can see it here that the booster is flush with the body. So now this is all good, and so what we need to do is do the other four, obviously, in turn. Okay, so this is going to be the end of this section of the build. And just to recap, here's the things that we've done to this body, all the modifications to the body, which was the 45-degree chamfer here to accept the larger base plate, the modifications here to the passages so that the fuel will flow correctly, and crucially also the auxiliary venturis that now have down leg boosters for higher flow. So this will be the end of the video. I want to say thank you very much if you got for watching. If you got any comments, suggestions, please put them down in the comments. If you want to see other projects, just let me know. And what we're gonna do in the next video now is we're gonna start putting all this stuff together, so assembling the base properly with all the bits, and putting this together and how to tune it. So stay tuned next week for the next installment. See ya.